Disclaimer: some, if not all my criticisms, might be outdated due to the game getting updated via patches and updates. Consider this a little time capsule. And besides, at the time of this recording, my criticisms were very valid, and you can't take that away from me. Salutations, one and all. So we're finally at the end of this Jurassic Park Builder Marathon thingamajig. It was actually a lot of fun to go back and look at all the older games, but good things must come to an end. Especially with the hot new game, Jurassic World Evolution 2. And I can't deny that was pretty hopeful for the new game. In the first game, Jurassic World Evolution, it was relatively well received. You know, after the game finally finished all of its updates and getting all of its DLC done a year or two later, yeah. But the good thing about sequels is that usually they're much better than the original game, taking stuff that worked and then expanding upon them, and it's to be expected when making a sequel. The expectations of the initial release will be slightly higher, though knowing when to temper your hype is also pretty important, especially when looking at Jurassic World Evolution 2. So does it live up to those sequel expectations? Well, certainly better than the first game, that's for sure. Yeah, we're just gonna jump right into this thing, and what happened? Alright, well maybe that's just too doomer. Oh, fucking Gen Z slang. Jurassic Evolution 2 is in a very particular spot. Like, here's the deal. They expanded and added upon so many features, then decided to take away certain features. And normally that's expected when it comes to a sequel. Expand on stuff, trim the fat that didn't work. However, I don't recall anyone ever asking for these details to get removed. Like, one of the neat additions they decided to do is that they combined the ranger station and the helicopter thingamajig. Yeah, I don't know its name and I'm not looking it up. And they made that all into one building. That's a great addition. But then they turn around and make the helicopter the only one that can use tranquilizer darts again, and the Jeep can only check comfort levels. Despite in the previous game, both vehicles could use tranquilizer darts. Why would you remove that? But regardless, there's quite a few more examples, and we'll get into more of those throughout the video. Though I do feel the amount of positives added into the game sort of outweigh the negatives, maybe on a technical level. For example, buildings have been reworked. Instead of having a bunch of different shopping centers like you had in the previous game, it's all simplified. You only have one building, well technically three if you consider size and amenities, that can pretty much do whatever you want. And when I say you can do whatever you want, I mean it. Well, I technically know, but you get what I'm saying. You can adjust the colors and design of the building, and with the exception of the color, it's all predetermined. But being able to mess around with the designs for the buildings is pretty cool, though of course you still need money, and you also need to fulfill your guest requirements in order to get more money. You also need to add decorations in your shop in order to attract more guests, and to make sure this red bar gets filled in. But the system is rather basic because you're able to add the same decoration, and people don't seem to care. They'll still flock to the same exact building. Just keep adding those aquariums. Hey, I'm thirsty. You want to go to this boba tea shop over there? Nah, man. I really don't care for it too much. It has an aquarium. Okay, do you want to head over to the Dryosaurus exhibit and get some boba tea? Hell yeah, it has an aquarium there too! But the guests aren't the only thing that got overhauled. Basically, the entire research system too also got a major overhaul. That includes fossils as well. So in this game, you have to hire scientists in order to pretty much do everything. Expeditions, extracting fossils, research, medical, incubation. And that's about it, actually. Each scientist have their own stats, and each task that they want to do also has their own stats that you need to fill in order to actually do it. And you're even able to level them up later on and get amazing scientists. However, you can't use them endlessly, as if you use them too much, they'll get disgruntled, meaning it'll take longer to do certain tasks, as well as filling up this bar meter. The higher this bar is, the greater chance of sabotage, though it's really easily avoidable. Just give your scientists a rest and you should be good with no accidents. Not that difficult. Basically, don't be an asshole. I think the one thing that probably had the biggest buff, for lack of a better term, is extracting fossils. While you're only allowed to do one expedition at a time, you do receive more fossils per expedition, and that's even before you get the dig yield upgrade. But what makes this even better is that you can extract all those fossils at once. At once! Now, while you're only limited to 10 at the start, you can get an upgrade to get 17 levels. And the extraction fee is pretty cheap, as it's per extraction, not fossil. And that's not even including the minerals or treasure that you can find that will basically negate the extraction price. This is a much better system than it was in the previous game. Instead of having to slog your way through doing fossils one at a time. Now, you can't sell them anymore, adding back to the why would you remove this feature, but I personally feel the trade-off is pretty worth it. I can't really say the same for the researching part, however. This time it's progression-based, meaning you have to unlock certain things first before you can unlock others. And while I would rather have the old system where I could research whatever I want, it's tolerable. However, the thing that takes the cake for me is that they just have these weird stipulations. You gotta have a certain amount of stars to unlock the tall viewing gallery. You gotta make sure a carnivore's in the pen before you can research a goddamn goat. And the biggest issue is the fact that you gotta wait till your dinosaurs get sick before you can research a cure for it. Why? Why can't I just be prepared? I mean, the same scientist that can tell if an egg is gonna be aggressive or strong can't figure out how to cure the avian pox? Like, look at the stipulation. I have to separate all my dinosaurs individually, I presume, in order to be able to research a cure for the avian flu. Yeah, no, go fuck yourself. But besides that, it's not really a bad system, and I can see the appeal to it, though I would be lying if this didn't feel like a form of padding. Or rather, making extra steps that weren't necessarily needed, but did anyways to extend game time. Like, for instance, the new medical facility. What I presume is the main reason why the Jeep and helicopter lost its ability to medicate dinos. In order to cure your dinosaurs, whether it be on low health or actual sickness, you have to deploy this slow-ass truck. Come on, Grandma, I'm trying to heal some goddamn dinosaurs. Just to be able to analyze them to see if they're sick or have any injuries. It just feels like an extra step that didn't really need to be there. I suppose they felt they needed to add a vehicle since they added the whole medical facility thing. Alright, fine, I suppose, but is it too hard to ask to let the ambulance train dinosaurs? Because here's the situation. Here's the process that you're going to be doing to just heal your dinosaurs. Alright, your dino gets injured because they're having their secret fight club. You gotta haul the ambulance over there, and then you gotta see if it's a major or a minor injury. If it's a major injury, you gotta go back to the helicopter. You gotta trank it, and then you have to use the transport tab, which is actually a really good quality of life feature, by the way. And then you have to haul it over to the med bay. Then you have to have a scientist heal it, and then put it back into the pin. How many steps was that? It just feels like padding and busy work. I feel like giving the slow truck strengths isn't too much to ask for an ambulance. A medical vehicle, especially since the dinosaurs have to keep on fighting for whatever reason. So then I have to continuously having to repeat the same steps over and over again. Constantly. After the 7th time of my trikes fighting for dominance, I was just about done. I was ready not to touch this game again. That's how frustrated I got after seeing them fight every 5 goddamn minutes. You see, in this game, most dinosaurs fight for dominance in their respective groups or their species. Or, they just fight in general. And while they're more dynamic than they were in the first game, they're still basically the same Pokemon-style battles with a different coat of paint. If you're really determined to have this style of fighting, then maybe just have 5 different fighting animations minimum, just so it doesn't get old. I'm not saying have 5 unique animations for each dinosaur, because I admit that's a bit excessive. But having like 3 generic animations and maybe 2 specialized animations for each dinosaur while they're fighting, but I don't know. Regardless, back to my previous point, dinosaurs fight for dominance. Like I said, they keep fighting and it's obnoxious. Healthcare is not free yet, god damn it. Awesome. He's dead. Or she's dead. Well, not my problem. So you might be asking yourself, is there any way that you can make them stop fighting? Well, kinda. Let me introduce you to the new hatchery and genetic system. So in this game, instead of having to manually make your dinosaurs one by one, you get to make them in batches of dinosaurs. And in those batches of dinosaurs, you can select certain dinosaurs with desirable traits in order to make your little dinosaur group function the way that you need it. Now, you can also mess with the genetics, and it's handled much more cleanly here. In the last game, it was kinda cluttered. Like, look at all these options and realize you're not really going to know which ones are the best ones to use. Because it's just, what do I do here? But this time, you aren't guaranteed the genetic trait that you want. You have to put points in specific traits in order to hopefully get it. It goes by 25% intervals. So if you have a batch of 4 dinosaurs, you'll probably get the trait. Or just keep one aggressive one and hopefully that one becomes the alpha. And boom! There you go! No fighting! while I much prefer this system, it does come with its weird design choices. For instance, while you can increase its chance to get certain traits, you aren't allowed to make traits go in the negative manually. If you want a dinosaur to have a negative trait, such as intolerance for whatever reason, it better have it by default or else you can't really get it. I find that strange because I don't see why I can't just add long live to my dinosaurs and then add some negative genes like weakness. You know, to negate the points I spend, I don't know, but maybe that's a bit too overpowered. I'm not a game designer. And now when you release a dinosaur, you either get a choice to release them naturally and see this gorgeous opening sequence, or airlift them to a new location. It's small changes like that that makes a huge difference. I still have to make my hatchery away from the location of the park, but now I don't need to manually train them to put them in their own pins. Such a much better system. But that's not the only thing that's been overhauled, for the skin system has changed quite a bit too. Instead of having predetermined skins, you are now able to select two different types of skins, your main skin color and a pattern color. I just love this. It adds so many different kinds of options for how your dinosaurs look. However, there's a tiny, kind of minuscule. I mean, I think I'm just making a mountain out of a molehill here. But, it might be just a major oversight. So basically, you get to select any colors that you want in their predetermined graphic that you see here. However, you don't see what the dinosaurs look like when making your skin. And not only is it super obnoxious not being able to see your skins with all the different combinations, but the colors aren't even right. Yeah, you get this little graphic, but it lies to you. Oh, I'm sorry, I asked for orange, not gray. If you're going to add a skin system and then certain dinosaurs don't get the skin color that the little graphic says that it's going to get, then what is the entire point? That is not good game design. Who thought that was a good idea? Do you see what I mean here? You take one step forward and then you go one step back, and then it's like you didn't even go anywhere. If you might be thinking I'm being a bit too hard, and if I am, I apologize. While I did temper my expectations, I did have slightly higher expectations. That's what happens when you make a sequel of any kind. And the funniest thing is, it meets some of them, even fly past some of them. But then others it just doesn't meet, and I'm just trying to understand what this weird mixed feeling is. Like, for instance, the screenshot mode is back, a feature I personally love, and I use it quite often, more so than the first game, but mainly because the game just looks really good compared to the old game, even on very low. The game looks surprisingly well, and I usually play on very high. So it's a no-brainer that I would want to take screenshots. The issue is that the mode didn't get updated at all, other than removing the slow feature from the mode. Yeah, it didn't get any buffs. It lost a key resource of making screenshots easier. Why would you do that? In what world, making it harder to take a screenshot by removing a slow option is better than the first game? Is it because of the new speed up feature? Yeah, you can speed up your game now, and a feature that I really do like. It stops the waiting around, and though I usually have it on maximum speed, no fault of the game, mind you. Mentally, I just can't resist the speed up feature. But no, I legit don't get the mindset of removing features. Like, you add quality of life changes in an update from the first game, and then you remove the quality of life changes in the sequel, but then you still add the other quality of life changes, and then you're just living in this godforsaken world. Was this game rushed? It had to be rushed. We all know Universal is a big movie company, and they would rather make money instead of spending a good time finishing a game. What do you want, Frontier Executive? Hello, Universal Executive. Can we delay the game? It's not exactly finished, and I need another month in order to add features. Get the fuck out of my room! Is that why the campaign mode is super short? Like, the premise of the campaign mode is that you have a bunch of wild dinosaurs on the mainland, and sometimes you have to track them down and take care of them. But it feels very undercooked. Like, this is an interesting mechanic where you have to go out of your way and track down dinosaurs via jeep, but it's used very sparingly. Once in the actual campaign, and twice in the last Chaos Theory mode because they realized they forgot about it. Owen and Claire have bigger roles in the story, and I quite like their characterization. Owen is not some emotionless, manly man. He's just a little dork, what can I say? It takes a non-canon game for me to enjoy his character because it adds a fucking personality to him. And it says a fucking lot. And the rest of the cast and crew is back, but other than Cabot, they just appear, and then they leave.
Like, the campaign mode just ends pretty abruptly.
Something tells me after Dominion got delayed another year, they had to delay some key features in the main campaign. Fine, I guess. Man, I love just releasing a game when it's clearly not finished. Look, even Chaos Theory is missing a specific spot, seemingly for Dominion.
Oh, right, Chaos Theory.
What is Chaos Theory? So basically, Chaos Theory mode is that you're going back to the previous films and doing what-if scenarios. What if Jurassic Park was successful?
What if the volcano didn't explode?
What if Jurassic Park San Diego, baby? They're all neat and interesting modes and serve as the island-based gameplay that you all knew from the first game. Well, kinda. Jurassic Park 3's mode just kinda sucks. All you're doing is just collecting dinosaurs, healing them, and then shipping them off. Riveting gameplay.
And no, I don't care about the Spinosaurus dying.
Not for the reasons you think. Look, you just gotta know, it's a deep cut reference. It's to one of the 15 scripts of Jurassic Park 3, before they decided to film it without finishing the goddamn script. God, I hate that movie, but I can honestly give or take with some of these things, like Jurassic Park 3 and Fallen Kingdom were just kind of meh. But the first one was surprisingly hard, but I bet that's just because I wasn't familiar with the gameplay mechanics. And what the hell is that? Get down, you little This game is breaking me. Despite my criticism, I like the game, but it's fucking breaking me. But one thing I absolutely love is the intro cutscenes. I've never seen anything like it. Showing stills from the original films, making them into some pseudo-animated piece of art. Seeing all these classic scenes from the original films created in this beautifully animated way, and the transitions from one another is absolutely fantastic. Please just give the person who thought of this idea for the intro cutscenes a massive raise. Please. Please! I think, honestly, my favorite mode from the Chaos Theory was San Diego. And yeah, literally for the amphitheater. That's basically the only reason, and I don't think I need another reason. But it's also in a desert, because we have more than one biomes in this game. Yeah, it's one of the new hip things in this game. We got tropical, desert, temperate, alpine, and taiga. Okay, so we have 4, and I'm just gonna be honest with you. I love them all. Actually, no, that's a lie. I am pretty sick of tropical, but I love most of them. It's such a huge breath of fresh air, and it's surprising how a new location can elevate the game to new heights. I love the desert biome. It allows me to make some type of savanna. The tundra biome, oh man, look, it snows. Look what I did, I made snow piles, and it's snowing, and oh god, it's snowing, it's too much, just stop snowing, stop! With the new biomes comes new weather and challenges, and they all do different things. For example, in the desert, they cause power outages. In tundra biomes, they cause snowstorms, which not only makes your vehicles move like not at all, like look at this, I'm barely moving. Yeah, hit that horn without hitting that horn. God. But they also cause your radar not to see any dinosaurs. Oh, that's awful. Then there's hurricanes, which pretty much have an opportunity to damage everything on the map. It's just not as severely as tornadoes, and tornadoes are back. And they basically just destroy everything that's in their path. While some are more tolerable than others, I do appreciate the different weathers. It makes the maps feel more unique and different, without just an aesthetic change. And because some of them can be so damaging, you might want to put up a backup generator next to your main hub. Actually don't, it's a goddamn money guzzler. Yeah, friendly tip, as soon as you start the game, research pylons, get a power station, and then delete the goddamn backup generator. It's a great idea concept-wise. In case you have a major power outage, you can make sure something stays on. And it's also a little callback to the original films. But I feel like it runs out way too fast, and unless I'm mistaken, even if you have enough power, it will continue to run and spend fuel. Everything in this game, from ranger facilities and medical facilities, uses fuel, but it's not an outrageous price to fill. It's just something that's super expensive, and if you don't know to switch it, it will most likely be the main reason why you'll go bankrupt in the first Chaos Theory mode. I think you're supposed to deactivate it when it's not in use, but the game doesn't really tell you anything about deactivation, and a new player is probably not going to know. Or just idiots like me who forgot that you could deactivate stuff. Whoops! Now you might be asking yourself, well, Sparky, the price doesn't seem too bad. Isn't getting money super easy? Nope. Money has been nerfed. No longer are the days of getting endless streams of money where you don't have to worry about anything. Get fucked, Jeff Bezos! What? But it's kind of a change that I kind of like. After I figured out how to play the game, you actually have to think about what you're spending, and now you have to use your money wisely. Trying to keep a budget for the eventual storm to hit and making you lose millions of dollars, or just get impatient and go mad spending crazy to get your game done faster. It allows you to be a bit more strategic, and because of the money nerf, the game is a bit more harder. It's kind of just harder all around. But that's mainly due because the game is entering tedious territory. While I like them, storms are happening a bit too frequently for me. Your park is getting sick constantly, and keeping on top of those money issues, it can be a bit overwhelming for a new player. And Chaos Theory doesn't have any difficulty settings, unlike the challenge mode. They're back, and they're a bit different. So in the original game, challenge mode served as a way to replay old maps. It was meant to be a bit of replay value and offer a dedicated challenge. However, this game went into a slightly different direction. Instead of doing previous maps from other games, you have a specific map that they created for you to do it. And while they look absolutely stunning, you only get
5 maps.
And while I understand you're probably getting your money's worth through all the different challenge maps, it's certainly more than what the base game of Jurassic World Evolution gave you on the initial release. But I don't know. If you're not going to allow us to use campaign maps in challenge mode, then what's the point?
I certainly appreciate the different maps exclusive for challenge mode.
It gives you an actual reason to do them. And I certainly hope we get more maps to do via updates down the line. But I don't see a reason why we aren't able to do other maps from Chaos Theory or campaign mode in challenge mode. I also don't like the fact that randomized dig sites are gone. Yeah, they nixed that. Probably because of the science system, and I'm going to be frankly honest with you. I hate it, and it ruins the replay value for me in challenge mode now. You do it once, and if you don't care about cosmetics, you're done. I understand as a whole, having exclusive maps is a plus compared to the old game, but to me, you just took out the two things I liked about challenge mode, because now I literally have the same dinosaurs multiple times during the beginning of each new map, and I swear to God, if I have to listen to Clement talk about how Struthiomimus literally has a beak one more time, I'm going to fucking lose it! Randomized dinosaurs offered me to change it up, not using the same dinosaurs, but now my starting dinosaurs consist of the same main 3 things. Struthiomimus, the Pseudoceratops, which, by the way, it resembles modern-day cattle, and Carnotaurus is apparently so metal by Chris Pratt. Oh, I'm good. Actually, that's a lie. I'm not good. At least you can play every map in Sandbox mode. Nope, you actually cannot.
You were able to do most of the maps, but
you weren't actually able to do the main campaign maps. Yeah, no, why? I really hope that wasn't a conscious choice. I just don't get it. I honestly can't think of a good reason why not to allow those maps into Sandbox mode. The mode that is meant to let you do whatever the hell you want and to let your creative juices get juiced. Yeah, what's the magical reason why we aren't able to play these maps? Come on, look at this map. Its leaves are orangey red. Give me my orangey red leaves, Frontier!
At least I can still play most of the maps.
It still fucking sucks. I was honestly surprised how fixated I got into the Sandbox mode. In the last game, I admit, I particularly didn't care. But in this game, I'm able to do quite a bit of stuff. I found myself actually enjoying making a park. I don't think I'm very creative artistically wise. I mainly just use a bunch of inspiration from this map. You know, using the skeleton of what the map already gave me, took some inspiration from Jurassic World. I tried making a little spin on it. And, you know, I kind of like it though. You know, I thought about like, well, what if there was a Jurassic Park style Jurassic World in San Diego? Yeah, well, that's pretty fucking stupid. And again, my honestly favorite part was just making a big safari area. Of course, blocked by concrete because, you know, you gotta pay to see those dinosaurs because I'm an asshole. But it was absolutely incredible. Being able to see all these dinosaurs moving around, running around, standing in front of the vehicle, running to the side of it, I was legit laughing. Not because anything was funny, but because of just that primal, amazing type of laugh. You know what I'm saying? Probably not. But yeah, look, I just got immersed. Even with the new foliage system, even when I wasn't seeing any dinosaurs, I was getting immersed by just traveling past all of these plants. Just trying to peek past them and see if I can spot any dinosaurs in the distance. It was my absolute favorite moment in this game. But I did say new foliage system. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, you've noticed I haven't really talked about the dinosaurs too much. That's because I couldn't find a good way to organically put them in the script until now. So in this game, herbivores don't have feeders. So how do they eat? Well, they eat plants. What are you, stupid? The terrain system has been upgraded, and now each herbivore has their own types of plants that they can eat. Now, you can't just plop down a small patch, no. You gotta make a decent-sized area for them to eat from. This all coincides with their new territory system, which they sort of had that in the original game, but you never really saw it. Now, with the use of the map, you can see what territory they're taking up. Though unless you're making a giant safari pen, it's not really going to be that big of an issue. But the territory is also important because dinosaurs have likes and dislikes now. Yeah, certain animals don't like other animals now. I guess that's kind of realistic, though disappointing because this means you can't really have a mixed pin full of ceratopsians because they hate ceratopsians. Who would have thunk? And it's like that for mostly other species. Stegos don't like ceratopsians and vice versa. Now, you are able to see what they dislike in their incubator, but it also feels like this game is trying to make you have more cages artificially. But I do kind of like the territory system in concept. And like I said, if you have a huge area, you can work around with it. And it's pretty cool to see dinosaurs stay in their respective territories and see the specific plant biome that they stay in. I just wish the ceratopsians got along with the other ceratopsians. I just think it'd be cool to see mock fighting amongst different species without them getting hurt, because animation-wise it is a lot better. Because most if not all dinosaurs have a unique animation when they're with another one of their same species, and they look really good. Which is why it's all the more disappointing that fighting animations are so lacking. And when it comes to hunting, even initiating fighting, it's a lot less stiff, and it's harder to tell that they're entering a hunting or fighting phase. And they don't look like robots in some Hamlet play. So kudos to that, though sometimes the animation can look a bit wonky, and the walking is just... what the hell is even happening here? But I'll gladly take a bit of wonkiness if it means the stiffness is finally gone. The animals just look so much lively now and it's much better for it. This also includes comfort. It's much better than it was in the last game, though it's also because the animals don't try to break out every 5 goddamn seconds. Now you have to have multiple different bars lowered in order for them to get a bad comfort rating. Thank you. Just thank you. I'm just glad they won't feel like breaking out because they have one less tree in their enclosure. Though the same can't really be said for the new animal editions. Well, sort of. We have flying reptiles now who can break out of their enclosure, and they're neat, I guess. Look. I don't care about flying reptiles. I just don't. Look, all they can do is squawk. And what more do you want? They fly, they squawk, they eat fish. I just don't get, they don't look cool. They're all basically the same design. But also, marine reptiles are officially in the game. And that's cool because I'm biased. But now they can't really break out of their enclosure for obvious reasons. But I think if you leave their comfort level low, they just end up hurting themselves to death. So that's a workaround, I suppose. And while the creature selection is limited, it's nice to see a Lyopleurodon, though not the Walking with Dinosaur size, unfortunately. Ichthyosaur,
Mosasaur, which actually got a size reduction.
and oh god, it's you!
You're the one who stole my $5. Oh. Okay, well. That sucks. I was gonna plug this video and everything. at youtube.com/sparkstorm1000. Fuck.
Jurassic World Evolution 2 has a weird feeling, you know? Because on one hand, I really like it, and on the other hand, I don't, and I'm just left feeling conflicted, and I don't really know if that's just because if I'm making like an actual mountain out of a molehill. And I honestly don't know if I'm making a bigger deal than it actually is, or if it's actually a legitimate issue. But would I recommend it? And this is just me flushing out every ounce of bias that I possibly can. Yes, with a small asterisk. Like, it has so much going for it, and I really do like it, but it drops the ball quite a bit on so many tiny key details, and it adds up. This is supposed to be a sequel game, and while it does expand on certain details to a very flawless degree, I should add, it doesn't on others, and it just feels lukewarm. Though if we want to argue which had the better launch, then this game has a lot more going for it compared to the original game, so it gets a newfangled star on that end, but then I have to take it away just because of all the weird decisions. It feels like it wants you to constantly be micromanaging every little detail, and sometimes it's just to a frustrating degree to where it's not fun, especially since it's getting to the point of repetition. Perhaps my opinion is just a bit too sullied. Since I played the original game, I expected more out of this. But, you know, I'm also a gamer, and, you know, we gamers just hate changes of any degree. Now, is it a good game? Well, as I said previously, yes, I still think it's a good game. The changes they added are really good. The dynamic animations making the dinosaurs feel alive, the new creatures, both marine and flying, even if I don't care for them, the new floral system making the map feel livelier than ever and allowing herbivores to actually eat naturally. The fossil system is undeniably better in every way. All great additions. Those changes are fantastic additions. Hell, I even like the UI animation in the intro. I just don't know about it. It's just beautiful. But then they removed backwards compatibility with the helicopter and sheep, made it more tedious to heal your dinosaurs at the medical facility. The new research system just stifles any replay value or potential creativity. The loss of the slow button in screenshot mode, not being able to use all your maps in sandbox mode, I don't know if it equals out, and maybe I'm just being overly attached to things I liked in the other games, but I just don't understand why these additions were removed. And you know, I wouldn't be surprised if it was announced that this game was rushed.
Like, look at Chaos Theory mode. Clearly that's meant to be Dominion right there.
Look at challenge mode. It seems like there's meant to be something there because there's obviously room for it. And the damn campaign mode was so short, and on top of that, you don't even have access to the goddamn sandbox map for the 15th time I've been trying to say it. You know why I'm still upset about it? Because I want to play my goddamn autumn trees. I'm really getting tired of this new gaming culture format. You know, not finishing a game and then releasing it, adding stuff via updates, or purposefully restricting content for DLC.
Wow, topical now. This video is so outdated.
When I pay $60 to $70 for a game, I would like it done. And I'm not going to put the entire blame on Frontier, because I'm almost positive this was a universal decision, and Frontier can't exactly tell them no. And the sad thing is, this game feels like it has so much damn potential. Like, the game is fun. I like some parts of it quite a bit, and if the first game is anything to go by, with future updates and DLC, it's going to be a fantastic game. But that doesn't excuse the fact that this is the now. And as I stated in the last review, first impressions mean everything. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Yeah, I said it. I said the hip word. I'm not mad. I'm disappointed. I'm like a father. But it's just with all the weird decisions they decided to do, it's just upsetting.
But would a new player honestly care about missing features? And if my whole issue is the fact that they removed features, a new player who is just getting into the series shouldn't really care since they don't have that extra baggage.
You wouldn't really be let down by anything, and more power to you. I would be glad if this was the game that got you in the Jurassic franchise. But if you felt like waiting for a price drop or holding off until the game gets actually finished, I really wouldn't blame you. In fact, when this game does get finished, I might actually do another video on this. Sort of like a Redux review or something. I don't know. I did the video again. That's the point. I'm doing Redux views. I'll do a Redux video. Because I never like any of the videos I post. But despite my negativity, I really do like the game. Maybe that's just biased talking, but the game shows so much promise, and I feel like it's going to live up to said promise. If you're a Jurassic Park fan, I think you would really enjoy this, especially if you like these park manager type games. Looking at all the dinosaurs and the scenery is amazing. It's great for taking pictures, even if you have to struggle to take pictures without the slow button. And the quality of life changes that they added are amazing changes and are worth checking out. But yeah, this was my first ever game marathon thing, unless you wanted to count the Pikmin one. And it was more fun than I thought it would be. Being able to see how the franchise evolved throughout the years, it gave me quite a bit of new perspective. And yes, don't you worry, this solidified my desire to do a full-on Jurassic Park game marathon. Consider this a little appetizer, but before then,
I have a couple videos planned before I start the new Jurassic Park game marathon thingamajig. This one has a 2 in the title now.
But for the next thing I'm doing, I'm going back to the garden and looking at some more Pikmin mods. Trying to do maybe a smaller retrospective for the end of the year. Probably. It might also be early next year. But I certainly hope you stick around, because I have a lot more planned. And hey, thanks for 200 subs. Catch you next time. Hey there! Thanks for watching the video. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Specifically comment. I really do enjoy talking to you folks. Right now, I didn't get brutally murdered this time. That's the sound of progress.